Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another vlog. I actually haven't done one of these in a while. I have a small, short stack of DVDs and Blu-rays to show you, and I have a fair number of thoughts on some recent movie trailers and some upcoming releases from Scream Factory and Kino Lorber, as well as a little bit of an update on what I have planned next for the channel in terms of upcoming videos. So, yeah, let's get going. Before I start showing the most recent haul of titles that I got on DVD and Blu-ray, I want to give a very special shout out to Matt A for donating to the channel. He donated a uh, decent amount to support the channel, and I wanted to give him a very special shout out. And I also wanted to give you all a special shout out for supporting me and watching my videos and leaving comments and just being really honestly quite wonderful, helping me get through the day sometimes when I'm kind of feeling down. So um I really appreciate it. I really do. So here we have, I'm going to start with the DVD, and this is like the only DVD. I got this from hamiltonbook.com because it was a good deal. The Bad News Bears 4-movie collection. So it's got the first film, the second one, the third one, and the remake. So all the Bad News Bears movies in one collection. And unlike some of the other collections, this isn't really super cheap in terms of just putting every movie on like one disc. This has all of the films on individual discs, which is honestly really cool. So that's Bad News Bears collection. The rest are all Blu-rays. We have Panic, which is also known as Satanic Panic. This is the censored slipcover. That's a thing. For some reason in Walmart and certain stores across the US, they can't put Satan in the title or anything like that. So they have to change Satanic Panic to just Panic, because people are pussies for some reason and can't handle a word. And not only that, they do it for like Hell. There was a movie called Hell that wound up getting a different title when it was released at Walmarts and other places, or something like I know what it is, Deathgasm. Deathgasm of all things had a retitle to Heavy Metal Apocalypse. Just people being sensitive wussies. So, the next titles I got from Hamilton, because I also got Panic from Hamilton along with the Bad News Bears collection. We have You Might Be the Killer with Allison Hannigan and Fran Kranz. Apparently this is out of print, so I got a pretty good deal on it. It was really cheap. And one thing I noticed about this, though, is for some reason, Screen Media Films makes their trailers non-skippable. So there are 2 trailers that play before you even get to the menu on this disc, and they're non-skippable. Who does that nowadays? Screen Media. That's who does that really annoying shit, is Screen Media. Like, why? Why have unskippable trailers? Thankfully, there's only 2 of them, and it's not like 10 trailers like some other releases, but still, come on, it's lame. Netflix does that too with their releases of Stranger Things. There's unskippable trailers for Netflix shows. So, Next up is Trick from Patrick Lussier, who directed My Bloody Valentine 3D. And then we have an All in Films release of the other Child's Play film. This one actually looks interesting. It's from 1972. Stars a young Beau Bridges. You've also got Robert Preston, James Mason. Looks like it might be an interesting thriller, and it's directed by Sidney Lumet. Then we have Small Soldiers on Blu-ray. This is a fairly recent release from Sony. They did one for Mouse Hunt that I'd like to get one of these days as well. And picked up the Happy Death Day films on Blu-ray. There was a recent Amazon sale. Not the one that was buy one get two free. I just got these off of Amazon when they were just marked down. So this is the sequel, Happy Death Day to You, which I actually haven't seen yet. I really like the first one, but I haven't seen the sequel just yet. And then I got a couple 4Ks. We have Zombieland and Zombieland Double Tap. And the rest of the stuff here is Black Rain on Blu-ray with Michael Douglas. This is honestly one of Ridley Scott's most underrated films. I really like this movie. I think it's a classic. And then we have Cape Fear, one of the best remakes out there, and one of my favorite films by Martin Scorsese. So, that's it for the individual titles, and then I just have a box set here of That 70s Show, the complete series, which some of you probably have already seen in the background of some recent videos. This is a set that keeps going out of stock every other month, it seems like. So I saw it for an affordable price on Amazon, so I decided to jump on it, because usually it's double the price that I wound up paying for it. So yeah, I picked it up because I like this show. I grew up watching That 70s Show. I used to watch reruns of this show on the CW. So I don't know if I showed this or not in any of the other updates, but yeah, it's a fun show. I would say once it gets closer to the end of the series, though, it's not as good, which is usually what happens when original cast members leave. So yeah, That 70s Show. Pretty good set from Mill Creek. They did do a thing where they edited the picture to make it fit a widescreen television, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I wish it was just 4:3 HD instead of cropped widescreen, but I can deal with it. Also, there are no features, so if you have the original DVDs of this show, none of those features are ported over onto this release. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but overall, still pretty pleased and happy with that set. So next up, I want to talk about some upcoming releases from Scream Factory, just to continue the talk about DVDs and Blu-rays, so that I can leave the largest chunk of this video to talking about upcoming movie trailers. So here we have Scream Factory's May slate of releases. King Kong, the 1976 film. I believe that's that's the year for, yeah, 1976 King Kong. One that I really enjoy, and this is going to have a 2-disc collector's edition, and all the features are yet to be announced. They haven't really announced all the features just yet. I don't think it's going to be a remastered print, though. I think it's going to be the same one from the overseas Blu-ray, but it is going to include the TV cut of the film, so that's a huge plus. Either way, I really am looking forward to it because I definitely feel the Japanese Blu-ray could definitely use an upgrade, and the new cover art that Scream Factory is using is really cool. And yeah, it's one that I'm definitely excited about, and it seems like it's going to be coming out just in time for my birthday. It's actually going to be coming out after my birthday, but it's going to be releasing in my birthday month, so that's something I definitely have my eye on for a birthday present. So, they also are going to be doing The Hand by Oliver Stone, Eyes of a Stranger, and He Knows You're Alone in the same month. I'm very kind of on those, but I wouldn't mind getting them to add them to my collection for the right price. And then they announced some Shout Select releases. You've got titles like City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold, Wildcats with Goldie Hawn. That's one that I definitely want to pick up because that's one of my favorite films starring Goldie Hawn, and honestly, one of my favorite football movies. And then you have All About the Benjamins, which I've heard some fun things about. But the one that really is the cream of the crop, so to speak, when it comes to the Shout Select releases is Explorers. So fans of Explorers, you can rejoice. Shout Factory is coming out with a collector's edition. I'm not super big on the cover art, but I can deal with it. You can just reverse the cover. Yes, it's a film that is mixed, that really does suffer from a incredibly disappointing last half, but the first half of the film is so good and so amazing that I want to have it in HD. And I want to see what the features are. I would love to hear some interviews with some of the cast and the crew and get a look behind some of the film's visual effects. So yeah, I am definitely looking forward to the release of Explorers. Now, they are also going to be releasing Event Horizon. That's something that's been on the horizon, no pun intended, for quite a long time now. I think it's actually supposed to come out officially within the next couple of days. And they have announced what the details are of it. Sadly, they weren't able to find the uncut footage. That's unfortunate, but then again, I'm really not surprised. So it does feature a 4K scan, though, of the original camera negative. You got an interview with the director, Paul W.S. Anderson. You've got an interview with the writer. You got an interview with Kathleen Quinlan. Interview with Jack Noseworthy, Peter Markiner. Interview with the production designer, the set decorator, one of the production managers, second unit director, location manager, interview with the sound designer, and then it ports over all of the same features from the older release of the film. I definitely would like to get this, but things are a little tight right now in terms of my finances, so I will probably have to wait on it. But it's one that I definitely have my eye on, and it's on my wish list. I really like the film. I think Event Horizon is an excellent movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing Scream Factory's 4K restoration and checking out those features whenever I get the chance. And yeah, that's it for the upcoming Scream Factory. Oh, actually, no, they yeah, I almost forgot. They recently just announced a couple Roger Corman releases that are limited in terms of their quantity. Blu-rays of Twice Dead and a double feature of The Terror Within and The Terror Within 2. And as of this recording, they might already be out of stock. Because Scream Factory did this really stupid, well, maybe it's not stupid, but really shady thing where they announced that these titles are limited to 1,000 copies each. And if that isn't bad enough, they put the limit in terms of copies that people could buy to 5 per customer. That's just an open door to scalpers. Either Shout Factory, Scream Factory doesn't give a fuck, they don't care. They just want people to sell it out and create this artificial demand, or what? I don't know why they decided to do this, because the Terror Within films actually have a decent cult following in certain circles, so why only limit that release to 1,000 copies, and on top of that put the cap at 5 per person? The scalpers are just going to buy the majority of the stock. That's really what's going to happen. I guarantee it. I bet I could go on eBay right now and look at these titles, and there's probably a good chunk of them already on there with sale prices that are double the retail. Initially, I thought Shout Factory was the right company to have the Roger Corman library. But if this is what they're going to do with these titles going forward, just roll them out randomly out of nowhere and limit them to 1,000 copies and provide carte blanche to fucking scalpers, then maybe they weren't the right company. But yeah, I'm not very happy with that. And I'm not getting either of them. I have Twice Dead in the double feature on DVD with The Evil and The Terror Within. I have that in the double feature with Dead Space, and I have the sequel from Code Red on Blu-ray. So I'm fine enough with what I have. It would be nice to see The Terror Within in 2K, the 2K remaster, but I'm not paying $26.83 plus shipping. That's the other thing. The price tag, close to like over $30. Plus, when you add shipping, well, maybe not over $30, but at least $30. Unless you buy both of them, then the shipping would be free, but then it would still be like $50. Close to $50 for only 2 Blu-rays. So I just don't agree with this business plan from Scream Factory when it comes to these titles. I mean, I was looking forward to a new Blu-ray or an actual Blu-ray of The Terror Within, and they finally come out with one. It's limited to 1,000 copies, and it has a price tag that's a little too steep for something that isn't even a collector's edition and doesn't even have any features, except like I think maybe it has a trailer, and maybe I think the first one might have a commentary, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I just what the hell, Scream Factory? Really? Come on. I mean, fucking Demented and Dead Time Stories got wide releases on Blu-ray, but not the Terror Within films? Or Twice Dead? So that's my thoughts on the Scream Factory releases. I mentioned Kino Lorber, and I want to mention them again because they're going to be releasing Bird on a Wire. I think that's awesome. And what timing? Like, I did a review of the film, I think, a month or two ago, and I said Kino Lorber would be perfect, would be a great company to release this film on Blu-ray. And then it's announced that that's one of the titles that they are going to be releasing later this year. And one more thing I want to mention is an upcoming 4K box set for the Indiana Jones films that Paramount is working on. I think it's supposed to come out, I think, maybe in the summer, I think, is a tentative sort of release date. Hopefully they get the right color timing for Raiders, because it's kind of off with the Blu-ray. But I am really, really excited for that. I love those films. Yes, I even really enjoy Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't think it's as good as the first three, but it's still, in my opinion, a good movie. So, yeah, I definitely am looking forward to those. And I heard a rumor somewhere that HBO might be working on a restoration of Tales from the Crypt, the HBO series, for HBO Max or potential home video release, I really hope that's the case because I would love to see this show in HD. That would be really awesome. That would be so cool. So, that's it for my thoughts on upcoming Blu-ray releases from different companies. I don't know if there's anything else to really mention in terms of Blu-ray releases. I might have missed something, but as of right now, that's all that I personally had in mind that I wanted to mention or talk about. Now we get to trailers. So I'm gonna start off with discussing my thoughts on some Super Bowl trailers. So one of the bigger ones is M. Night Shyamalan's newest film called Old. Some island that people are trapped on, and the gimmick is that people either age or they de-age, and it's just weird, and it just looks like a typical strange, muddled, confusing M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong movie with the same kind of really awkward acting that's present in all of his films nowadays, where people act like they're not human. They act like they're aliens wearing a skin suit that's supposed to make them appear human, but the way that they're acting is anything but. It doesn't feel natural, and I don't understand why M. Night keeps doing this in terms of the kind of performances that he gets from his cast in his films. The fact that this is continuing to happen really points to M. Night. He is the one that is actually making sure that people act like this. Otherwise, these actors and actresses would not act as unnaturally as they do in these films. And the concept just seems like there's not enough there for a feature film. This is like something you'd think you would see on Fantasy Island or an anthology show like The Twilight Zone, not a feature film. Then there was a new TV spot for Coming to America, the sequel. The 2 is actually the number 2. I don't know about the PG-13 rating. The first film was rated R and had some really edgy humor, and I think the PG-13 might have been a mistake. But it's nice to see Eddie with that old energy again, and it's nice to see him and Arsenio. And there were a couple gags that made me chuckle, but I don't know. It's just one of those films that, as much as I really love Coming to America, I don't really know if we needed a sequel. Regardless, I'll check it out. I'll give it a watch. Mainly for Eddie and for the director who also directed Dolomite Is My Name. I think his name is Craig Brewer. I think that's the name of the director. But yeah, it looks like it could be disappointing, but honestly, what I want out of it is an enjoyable movie. If it's an enjoyable film but it has flaws, I can deal with that. The next trailer I want to talk about is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, I don't get the hype for this. Some of the CGI actually looks worse than the CGI from the Joss Whedon cut. Joss Whedon had something that he added to the film that I feel actually was a good thing, which was color. And in Zack Snyder's version, it's once again sepia. Let's bleed away as much color as we possibly can with really shitty looking filters. And then on top of that, let's be super, super fucking edgy and dark and Just like, I mean, I've seen some stills from the film. One of them just made me absolutely bust out laughing because it was the subtlety was completely non-existent. You had Jared Leto's Joker with a crown of thorns on his head. It's like, haha, yeah, it's Jesus and religious allegories. It's just like, oh my God, Zack Snyder, can you stop with that shit? It was already bad enough in Man of Steel where you literally had a scene where Superman is in a church on his knees and there's a stained glass window in the background of Jesus on the cross. It's like, come on, man. Like, fuck you and your symbolism. We don't need any of that shit. And Justice League looks like it's gonna have the same problems that the other Justice League had. Characters I don't give a fuck about, superheroes that I really like in the comics or in other adaptations, but I don't like their adaptations in the DC cinematic universe, like Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, or Aquabro, and just a orgy of CGI. And it's just like I don't get the hype. Ooh, Superman's in his black suit. All right, so it doesn't make up for how badly Zack Snyder fucked up the death of Superman storyline in Batman vs Superman. And 4 hours? 4 hours. God. You want to know my prediction when it comes to Zack Snyder's Justice League? If I ever decide to sit down and watch all 4 hours of that movie, to quote Mr. T, to quote Clubber Lang from Rocky 3, pain. That's my prediction. 4 hours of pain and misery. So yeah, not looking forward to Justice League. If you are, that's cool. I have no issue with that, but I don't get the hype. I don't. Then Disney recently came out with a trailer for Cruella. Cruella is one of those films that, on paper, it sounds like it might be intriguing, and I like Emma Stone as an actress. And visually, it actually looks pretty stylish. But you can't get away from the Joker or Harley Quinn vibes of this trailer. I know Cruella was a character that was around before Harley Quinn, but you can't tell me that the trailer editor or Disney themselves did not have Harley Quinn in mind when they put together these shots. I mean, you got shots from this trailer that look like they're directly lifted from Suicide Squad or Birds of Prey. You just can't really get around it. And then on top of that, it does seem like another film like Maleficent, where they're going to take a Disney villain and they're going to create some sympathetic backstory as to why they became a villain. It is tragic, and you should feel for Cruella. And it's like, why should I feel for? Isn't she the one that skins puppies? Like, what are we doing here? We're going to try to turn Cruella into an anti-hero? Like, I don't know if that's really the best approach to make. And yeah, Joker vibes are definitely everywhere too. I mean, the whole structure of that trailer is, it just reeks of the editor being told by Disney or by his superiors to edit the trailer as close as they possibly can to the trailer for Joker. And I don't understand that. I don't think Cruella is really a character that works in that particular realm. But, I guess we'll see soon enough. But I have to give Disney at least some credit for trying to do something a little darker. I will give them credit for that. I don't think it's going to be as dark and as disturbing as it could be. Like, what if it was rated R? I would actually be curious to see a rated R Disney villain movie, but that's not going to happen. At best, it's going to be a PG-13, and it's going to be probably full of a lot of feminist stuff and a lot of other things as usual. It's going to try to be very woke, so I'm not really looking forward to that aspect of it. And the last trailer I want to talk about, at least in terms of a movie trailer, is Mortal Kombat. That's another trailer I don't get the hype for. I'm sorry. I like Mortal Kombat. I haven't played the games in forever. I'm a huge fan of the 1995 film. I am not a fan at all of the backlash the 95 film is getting now because this trailer has come out. You get all these people leaving comments saying the 1995 film is corny, it's cheesy, it doesn't hold up. This new trailer is a million times better. And it's like, all right, whatever. Teach their own. I don't think so. I would rather watch the 1995 film if the trailer for Mortal Kombat is presenting the kind of film that I'm going to see. Because in the 95 film, it had fun. It had a semblance of we're not taking this too seriously. And it had a lot of energy to it. Even the way the trailer is edited and the song and everything, it did a much better job at getting you hyped. This was underwhelming. And a big part of it is there's next to no color. I'm so tired of this trope, this really common thing nowadays in films where they use these really obvious filters to just sap color or make things closer to grayscale, and it's not good. It's ugly. It really is. It's honestly getting to the point where it's ugly to watch. And the CGI is terrible. Yes, the CGI at times in the 1995 film was bad, but that's 1995. It kind of has a built-in excuse. The technology was limited. Even Annihilation's awful CGI has a built-in excuse because the technology was still pretty limited. Nowadays, it's not limited, and why does it look worse than the video game? Well, it's not finished yet. I hear that all the time when people get on my case for talking about CGI in a film uh, that's featured in the trailer. It's not finished yet. And then I see the actual film, and then 95% of the time, that's the CG that is in the finished movie. So I really would be surprised at this point if the CGI was improved upon in any way, at least in a significant manner, because this film was what, coming out in March? So yeah, I mean, it kind of running out of time. I don't get why it's just the serious vibe. I don't understand. It's not epic to me. It just makes it seem like it's boring and it doesn't want to have any fun. Because the majority of the trailer is just people being super serious and dour. Sonya Blade, the majority of her dialogue is shit that you think you'd hear in a Tom Clancy movie. And then you have your new lead in Cole. Who the fuck is Cole? Who is this guy? And no, he's not going to be Johnny Cage. That that theory was debunked by people who were a part of the production and recently just came out and said that's not going to be the case. So why the hell is Johnny Cage not in this film? Oh yeah, he's not in it because he's a white man and he's a misogynist and he's problematic. I never thought that there would be a time when there would be another Mortal Kombat movie and Johnny Cage wouldn't be in it because he's white and he's problematic. Because, God forbid, he hits on any women or acts like a jackass or says one-liners because that's just not acceptable in today's society anymore. Uh, I don't understand. Why? Johnny Cage was in the video games, even the most recent video game, and he was in Scorpion's Revenge, the animated film. Why the hell is he not in the live action movie? I just don't understand the logic here. Especially replaced with this fucking Trisket of a character in Cole, who his connection to Mortal Kombat is that he literally has a Mortal Kombat birthmark. And it doesn't help either when it comes to my level of excitement for this movie when you have lines of dialogue like, it's a birthmark. Yeah, maybe he was born with it. Yeah, maybe it's Maybelline. And yeah, you think he was born with it? Yeah. That's why it's called a birthmark. What do you think people get birthmarks at any other point in their lives other than when they're born? You fucking dumbass screenwriter. So yeah, that was a really cringe line of dialogue. And then the fight scenes, they were really lame. I don't understand the praise for them. They're too slow. They are way too slow. There's too much slow-mo. The way that they're shot, it just seems like they're a half a step too slow. And there's not really a lot of energy or impact behind any of the blows or any of the kicks or anything. And the costume design at times looks worse than what I've seen fans come up with. And the CGI is really bad, especially when it comes to Jax or Goro. Goro was done completely practically. It was a complete practical effect in the 1995 film. And that still holds up really well compared to the CGI in this. And speaking of CGI, too much CGI blood. Why are we fucking doing this? What is the point of doing a live action Mortal Kombat movie and not doing all the effects as practically as humanly possible? Don't tell me you can't do it. You could do it because there's a lot of low budget direct to video films that are doing gore. There was a film that came out in 2020, a slasher movie called Freaky that had a lot of blood and gore that was done practically. You could fucking do it. I don't understand why they wouldn't. To me, it's kind of pointless to have an R-rated gory Mortal Kombat movie if this gore is not practical. Because you've had how many games over the past 10 years or so that have had CGI gore? I'm just saying. Like, what is the point? You're just going to make it look like another cutscene from the video game. But that's not surprising considering that's what a lot of films nowadays are. A lot of the action, a lot of the gore, a lot of the fights, a lot of these other things just look like cutscenes from a video game. And I shouldn't be too surprised that Mortal Kombat is in the same boat, but I still kind of am because after all of this, you're just going to do it all CGI? Pointless. Why even do it then? And then, I mean, it doesn't. Then you got scenes with Scorpion where you can barely even understand what the fuck he's saying. Sounds like he's Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Get over here. Okay, Charlie Brown's teacher. Yeah, I don't get the hype. I don't get it. I don't understand why so many fans are completely just creaming themselves over the trailer for Mortal Kombat. If you're in that boat, that's fine. I honestly have no problem with that. I just don't get it. If the trailer was epic and badass all the way through, I would get it. But it looks boring. It looks forgettable. It looks like a mini series for YouTube. It doesn't really have a theatrical size and scope. And on top of that, everyone looks like they're not having fun, except for Kano in one scene where he rips out Reptile's heart. That was the only moment where there was anybody that seemed like they weren't taking things super seriously. It's Mortal Kombat. It's not Shakespeare. So yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it. I was curious about it because it's R-rated and it's a new Mortal Kombat movie and I like Mortal Kombat and I'm still probably going to see it and I'm going to give it um, a fair shot, but I'm not impressed. Just not. And the last trailer I want to talk about, which is, I would say, my favorite trailer that I've seen lately, is the trailer for season 2 of Creepshow. Ugh. It was only a minute long, but it was a minute of pure awesomeness. Practical effects all over the place, practical monsters, practical creatures, practical gore, and you also had the presence of Keith David, which is always welcome. So yeah, it was a minute long, so there really isn't a whole lot I can say. There's not really a whole lot of detail, but it looked really good. It looked like they improved upon the production values even more from the first season, and it looks very promising. And I enjoyed season 1 quite a bit, and I am highly looking forward to season 2, which is going to be coming out later this year. So, that's my thoughts on the trailers. In terms of upcoming videos, I got a couple more paid requests, this time for a good friend of mine named Will, and he requested some anime, so I will be reviewing Cyber City uh, Odio, 808, and Ninja Scroll. Those are going to be the next reviews. And after that, I got some random stuff planned, some old school buddy comedies, uh, and some new stuff, some newer crime drama kind of films, a couple rape revenge movies, because I saw Promising Young Woman, and I checked out I Care a Lot, which I liked a lot, to be honest. I would say that's so far my favorite film that I've seen this year, even though it does have its flaws. And I also checked out Miss 45, another film that I actually really enjoyed for what it was. So yeah, just gonna kind of go with the flow and be a little random after uh, this duo of paid requests for Will. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you later. See ya.